Ladies and gentlemen, we return to the action here inside MGM Grand in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Boxing, This is Top Rank, presented by Hall of Fame boxing promoter, Mr. Bob Arum. This bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the lightweight division. Our judges at ringside, Adelaide Bird, Eric Cheek, and Lisa Giampa. And the man in charge at the sound of the bell, Celestino Ruiz. Fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 131.6 pounds, wearing pink trunks with white trim. He brings a perfect record of 6 wins, no losses. 3 of those victories coming by way of knockout. From Madera, California, Bryan Lua. Fighting out of the red corner, he weighed in at 131.6 pounds, wearing black trunks. He brings a record of 4 wins, 3 losses, 3 victories coming by way of knockout. From Calle, Puerto Rico, Nelson Colon.
Gentlemen, I gave you guys your instruction in the dressing room. I expect a clean, fair fight start to finish. Pedirlo instrucciones en el camerino, que es una pelea limpia y protéjase siempre. You're good here, you're good here, tú estás bien aquí. Let's do this.
All right, this fight scheduled for 6 rounds. Bryan Lua taking on Nelson Colon. Christina Pontra and Chris Algieri here with you. Thank you for joining us on ESPN Plus. Our main event tonight, Emmanuel Navarrete taking on Ruben Villa for the vacant WBO featherweight world title. But right now, Bryan Lua in the pink and white trunks, Colon in the black trunks with the flag of Puerto Rico on that left thigh there.
You know, look for Lua to fight at a distance, use his jab, use his eyes to see the punches coming from Colon and look to counter, especially with the left hook, but also body work to break his man down. There we see a nice left hook to the liver from Lua.
And right to the body is the game plan. And as I say right, I mean get right to the body, but he will be delivering right and left hands. As when I spoke to Robert Garcia, that's definitely part of the game plan, is to go to Colon's body early, stay relaxed, but work the body. For Colon, as I mentioned, facing his 3rd consecutive undefeated opponent, never been stopped as a professional, and will likely give some rounds here to Bryan Lua. I think that's what he's kind of brought in for, if you will.
Look for the left hook from Colon. From what I watched in his tape, that's really the shot that he's looking for. Like many great Puerto Rican fighters, the left hook is always going to be there.
Go figure, a Puerto Rican with a nice left hook.
For the most part, Colon, he comes forward with the high guard, which you're seeing true to form, comes forward and looks to land his left hook.
Tripling up on the jab, and then a nice combination, finishing with a body shot there from Lua. Lua spent some time in this camp and in the previous month getting Salcedo ready for his fight, and then Salcedo has a fight coming up against Arnold Barbosa, and so they've been sparring, and that's some really good work there. In addition to Bryan getting sparring in months previous with Hector Tanajara Jr. and Eric Puente, so always good, always good work here at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy in Southern California. That high guard you're talking about for Colon.
Which is very smart from Robert Garcia to have the game plan to target the body, which is going to be open from a fighter who fights the way that Colon does.
See him with that kind of hunched over style, trying to protect the body with that high guard, but
you know, his hands are very static. They're not moving. They're right where they are. They're up. Elbows are in. Leaves a lot of openings for punches like that.
Right around the guard with that right hand from Lua. And down to the body with that right hand.
And you can hear the power from Lua, like we had talked about at the top of the fight. The guy can punch, and he can do it with both hands.
Great job by our audio crew. Chris and I are calling the fights remotely from a studio. We are not ringside inside the bubble, so we are hearing it through our headset and calling it off a TV screen here. And again, you can just hear the pop on these punches from Lua.
Lua fighting very smart, very composed, eyes open, fighting at a distance. He definitely has respect for Colon.
Colon taking these shots and barely even flinching, though.
From what I've seen, he's a very, very tough guy. Takes a punch really well. Never seen him hurt or down. Never been stopped.
Lua had a 2.5-year layoff with the left hand injury that he suffered in sparring, so he's more than happy to get back and get a second fight now under his belt. This being his first scheduled 6-rounder. He just fought November 19th against Luis Norambuena, a fight that he knocked him out in the 2nd round there in the bubble in the summer series.
Brutal knockout.
It really was, and right back in action here less than a month later. But that's what they want to do. He missed a good amount of time. I mean, after only having 4 professional fights, 5 if you will, and then having a hand injury, it's no time to waste. He's got to get right back to work.
Yeah, no, he spoke about the depression and the sad state of that time being out and watching as he couldn't compete. So I'm sure he's got a lot of ground to make up, and he wants to get as much done as he can.
And part of that is coming out of the amateurs. I mean, you've had fights with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. He split 4 fights with Ryan Garcia, 2-2 as an amateur. So when you're fighting at that amateur pedigree, then you're seeing what those guys are doing now as a pro, and knowing you're not there yet because of your injuries, you're quick to want to press that fast forward button and try to play catch up, if you will.
Oh, he's doing fantastic right now, fighting behind that left jab. Very, very smart movement, good lateral movement, inside, outside. Eyes are open, making no mistakes right now. And I like him at 130 instead of 135. This is a good weight class for him.
Yeah, I asked Robert about that earlier today. I said, you like him at 35 or at 30? He's like, no, 130. 30 is where we want to be. We're making our way closer to 130. This fight coming in at 131.6 with ease. So
it's worth noting that in the corner, Robert Garcia was asking Colon to be busier with his jab, with Lua to be busy with his jab, and not everything had to be hard. And Lua, being a good student of the game, listening to his trainer, doing exactly that.
And Colon just having a hard time letting his hands go, Chris. Really no sort of offensive output here, almost through 2 rounds. Just maybe 1 punch at a time. The activity level of Lua and those body shots have really kept him holding that guard tight.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't think it's anything Colon's doing wrong. I think it's what Lua's doing right. He's using beautiful movement like that. He's making his man miss. He's keeping the jab on him, and he's throwing big power shots whenever he has the chance. Whenever he feels like it, really. Eyes are open, looking for the holes.
But you got to be in there to work.
Colon's going to start really putting pressure on. He's really not doing anything at this point. I don't think he's landed a punch this round.
Well, you can't really land if you don't throw. Ooh-wee. Cannot wait for next Saturday, October 17th. Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko battle it out for 135-pound supremacy.
The energy is in the air.
It sure
is palpable.
It sure is.
The boxing world is ablaze.
I mean, last weekend with what we just had with Chon Zepeda and Branchek, our main event tonight could be fireworks with Villa and Navarrete, and then next weekend, and then you got Inoue the weekend after. I mean, boom, 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 boom. So, loving this month of October here.
The monster fighting on Halloween.
Fitting, right?
Very good. These top right guys are smart.
Jason Maloney back as well in that fight. It'd be a really, really good fight to wrap up a solid month of October. And then another monster in a different kind of way, just the beast that he is. Terrence Crawford is finally back. That's going to be, I think, November 14th against Kell Brook.
Kell Brook, good fight. Good fight. Telling fight, too. Good way to compare Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford.
Sure, especially
with a common
size-wise,
opponent.
right? Yeah.
Common opponent.
Round 3 scheduled for 6. Christina Poncher, Chris Algieri here with you. Bryan Lua cruising at this point. Not much offense from his opponent, Nelson Colon. Lua pretty much being able to do whatever he wants, land that triple jab. He's thrown good shots to the body from both sides. We're just waiting for Colon to try to open up and give us a little something here, give himself a chance.
A little blood from the nose of Bryan Lua. Maybe from one of those jabs from Colon. But Colon, like you said, has not done all that much thus far.
Step back.
Kind of seems like both men have a lot of respect for each other. Colon, I've seen him be more aggressive in the past. Good body shot.
Left hand to the body, that fired up Lua as he answers back with a combination of his own. And again to the body with the right hand from Lua.
Nice double left hook, high and low.
But see, when Colon opens up, although he's getting hit, he's landing some of these body shots. He's got to give himself a chance.
He's a good puncher, Colon. He's just not busy enough right now. I don't understand. Colon is getting into the position, getting into the range where he can punch, but just doesn't. There's been a few times in this round where he's got into position. Lua wasn't throwing either, and so Colon could have thrown, but nothing.
And Colon's been able to walk him down simply by holding up his guard and coming forward, not even working off the jab. Why not pop the
Speed kills.
We're going to see a little bit of that, a lot of bit of that October 17th too, that variation of those guys and their speed, their skill, their power. Can't talk about that fight enough.
Speed, power, offense, defense, everything.
Angles, distance, footwork.
And how about the fact that we're talking about guys near their primes? Like they're fighting. This is what you need to see. It's not one guy on the way out and one guy on the way up. They're two men. I think Lopez is approaching his prime. He's not even at his prime. And I think Lomachenko is still very much in his prime.
Yeah, I don't buy that Lopez. I know that, I mean, Lopez has been saying Lomachenko's on his way out. I don't buy that.
I don't see that.
At all. I think he's a very obviously live dog, being the multi-belt champion in that fight. And
Lopez wants to kick him out.
I know,
for
exactly.
sure. Kick on his way out.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on his way out.
Yep, I agree.
Lewis showing a lot more of his boxing skills tonight. Different than his last showing, in which he stood in the pocket with the counter.
This is the first scheduled 6th rounder in the professional career of Bryan Lua. He's gone 4 rounds in the first 3 fights of his professional career, and then has won the last 3 by knockout. So it's been quite some time. In fact, since January of 2018, since he's seen round 4. But Robert knew this. He told me when I spoke with him on the phone, we are going to get rounds in. This is a tough opponent. He's going to give us some rounds. It'll be tough. He takes punches well. I mean, check. I mean, obviously, Robert did his homework, and that's no surprise why he's one of the best trainers in the game. And big left hook from Lua. Comes back, and you get the sense now maybe that he wants to step on it a little bit more here in round 4 and finish it.
Yeah, it seemed like the first 3 rounds he kind of set the tone, got in position, but now he's really opening up in round number 4. Colon takes one hell of a punch. He got hit with a counter left hook right in the middle of his face. Didn't blink.
Colon's record 4-3 and 3 knockouts, and those 3 losses have all come by decision. A split decision, a majority decision, and a unanimous decision. So
you can see the flank of Colon. His left side is all red from those strafing right hooks from Lua.
It's a rare steak there, my chef, nutritionist, analyst, partner.
I guess I'm having steak for dinner tonight. Now that you reminded me. Yeah, flank steak. Tenderizing it. Yeah, you see the red mark there on the side of the body of Colon. That's been one of the more consistent weapons of Lua all night, has been that right hook to the body. Always set up by that left jab. Like that, look.
And I think he wants him to use his left hand, his left hook a little bit more. I think you're seeing a lot of the right hand, which you alluded to, Chris, but I think he's calling for a little more of that the left hand, the left hook here.
He started to unveil that a little bit at the end of the last round. Letting his hands go.
And Robert likes that lead left hook off his fighter's jabs, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Strong off that jab and then follow up with the left hook.
He likes hard jabs, and there it is.
Yep.
And the lead hook right off it.
I guess we know a little something.
Yeah, that's a tough move against a guy like Colon, whose hands are static. They stay where they are. It's very hard to get the left hook lead to land clean on that.
How about 7 jabs and then a right hand?
I like that. And there's the counter hook. That's the one you got to, yes. Like that, the counters, that's where he's gonna hurt a guy like Colon. Good angle.
Just missed with that right hand on the way out.
Very accurate with that jab.
Right through the guard there of Colon.
you know, when you don't have anything coming back at you the way Lua is experiencing, he's being able to set up his punches. That's why his accuracy is probably very, very high in this fight. Takes his time, picks his spots, makes sure they all land. Keeping those eyes open. I feel like I'm mentally imploring Colon to throw more punches. I want him to open up. I've seen such good things on on tape from him. He's a really tough guy. He's got some pop too. But he's been handcuffed all night long.
Handcuffed is the perfect word. I mean, it almost looks like his hands are locked together in that same guard, that same position. You can take snapshots throughout this entire fight. Chances are you're going to catch Colon in that same position. And 5 rounds into this fight now, Colon has done really nothing to make the judges swing any of these rounds his way. He's going to look back at this, and it's going to be more than evident that he didn't let his hands go enough. Still another round to go here at 20 seconds. It is boxing, anything can happen, but Bryan Lua has just been dominating this fight, offensively, defensively.
I'm not sure what Colon is waiting for.
I don't either. It's not a sparring session. You need to get to work.
Yeah, time is ticking away. Mixing his offense and his defense.
And I'm not 100% fluent in Spanish, but I get the gist of what they were telling Colon in the corner. It's like you need to go with it with all your heart. At this point, you need to go for a knockout.
And throw the hooks.
You need to throw your hooks, try to get him out of there with everything. And, you know, to just go out there and try to do your best. And at this point, needs a knockout to win this fight, as Bryan Lua would love to add another knockout to his resume.
Honestly, it might sound weird, but it's hard to knock out guys who are not punching with you, or not trying to punch back.
No, it doesn't sound weird. I get that.
He's just covered up.
Yep.
And, you know, he's physically strong enough that he's there, and he's catching the punches on his glove. I think Lua would had a lot better chance to hurt him if they were actually exchanges.
And I think that's what we thought we were going to see more of when we alluded to kind of being excited for this fight, and we thought we were going to see a little bit more of the back and forth, and we just barely in spurts. And it's not that Colon didn't land when he actually threw. He just never really did it very much at all.
No, and I think it's twofold. One, I think it's the brilliance of Bryan Lua. He's fought a great fight. He's been very
measured.
For the style in front of him. He fought a perfect fight in order to win every round and every second of the fight. But also, I think it's Colon played into that role exactly right, and he's just not forcing the action. What I do like about Bryan Lua in this performance tonight is his consistency. He has kept his eyes open. He has been offensively and defensively smart and clever for all 6 rounds, and I think that's really important for a guy who's been out of the ring as long as he has, to get these rounds in and to be consistent.
And I think that some fighters can get bored, some fighters can get frustrated against an opponent like this, and he has stayed the course. He has not shown that at all. He has gotten some good work in 2 rounds when he came back in September. He's getting another 6 in here. It's what they wanted. His first 6-rounder looks to be in great condition, was consistent with his punch output, worked consistently off the jab, landed some great shots to the body, which was a big part of the game plan.
I don't know, he executed. He executed the game plan through and through. Like you said, when you got a guy in front of you like this, you can get frustrated at times, and he hasn't shown that at all.
And he's only 22 years old, so he's got time. He's got time, but he wants to press fast forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds here inside the MGM Grand, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Adelaide Bird, Eric Cheek, and Lisa Giampa all score the bout 60-54. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Bryan Lua.
And just as you had it, Chris, shutout win for Bryan Lua. He improves his record now to 7-0 with 3 KOs. Congratulations to Bryan Lua.